and welcome if you're new. In today's video, I am so excited to share with you a DIY Dollar Tree Christmas wreath. So we are going to create an elegant wreath on a super tiny budget, and we're going to use all items from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to share with you guys how I take some of those Dollar Tree items, such as their floral picks, their ribbons, and different things like that, and I'm going to share with you guys how to transform them to make them boutique gorgeous on a budget. You guys know I love to make a fancy home decor, but we're going to do that on the cheap. And so without further ado, let's jump into this DIY Dollar Tree Christmas wreath. Now to get started creating my wreath base, I just went in with this Dollar Tree wreath base form. This is $1 at the Dollar Tree, and I already had this Dollar Tree evergreen garland on hand, but if you all have an evergreen wreath base, definitely use that. They sell them for about $4 or $5 I know at Walmart, but you guys, I love to reuse what I already had, and I went ahead and dug into my Christmas stash early and found this garland, and I just knew it would work perfectly on this wreath base, so I'm just wrapping it around and looping it around. For this wreath, I'm creating that winter wonderland, so I just want to take some vintage pink spray paint, and I'm using those Dollar Tree daisies, and I'm just spray painting the front and backs of these. You guys, I already had these daisies on hand and this spray paint, so I'm really trying to repurpose and reuse what I have. And then Dollar Tree also carries paint, so I'm just using a mixture of white paint and a dab of Mod Podge. What I want to do is I want to kind of just layer this on top of the spray paint, and that way I'm creating kind of a snowy effect. And if you want to take it a step further, which is what I did, I just combined some Epsom salt and some glitter and sprinkled that on to the daisy after I was finished. I want to create this kind of really vintage winter white glam snowy wonderland with these flowers, so I hope you guys are catching my drift. Now, the next thing I wanted to share with you guys is I had this Dollar Tree ribbon, and it was left over from Christmas last year. I also had some left over from Halloween and spring, so these were all kind of random colors. I just took some of Mr. Romantic's camo paint, and it was a flat, just kind of tan paint, and I painted right on top of that ribbon, and then I'm taking some of that Dollar Tree white paint, and I'm just kind of going over the ribbon as well. So I'm just used a layer of paint on with the spray paint, and then another layer of paint with the white paint. You don't have to completely cover your ribbon, and this is totally an optional step. I just wanted to reuse this ribbon, and I also wanted to kind of transform it and mute the colors, and I felt like this was the easiest way to do it. So obviously I already had that spray paint on hand, and then I'm just making that combination of the Epsom salt and the glitter, and I'm just going to lightly dust the ribbon with that. Now this did have some fallout on the ribbon, but it really created the most gorgeous winter wonderland snowy effect, which is really what I'm going for this holiday look on this wreath. You guys comment and let me know what you think. This definitely does take some time to brush everything with white paint and glitter over it, but it's so well worth it and such an easy and cheap way to transform. So once I have my wreath base form ready and all of my florals painted and glittered up, I want to go ahead and lay them out kind of in plates after they're all dry, and I group them by color palette. So you can see I have some of those Dollar Tree white ornaments, I have a little bit of DECO mesh, I also had a couple of gold florals that I added a snowy appearance to left over from fall, and some other Dollar Tree fruit that we painted in another DIY that I'll link down below. And there's those pine cones we painted, and then some of those Dollar Tree gold and kind of coppery rose gold ornaments. And then here is our ribbon. Now we're not going to use all of these items in this one wreath project, but I do love to go ahead and group the different items that I may want to choose from when I go about starting a project. So that just gives me kind of idea of the color palette, which is that vintage winter wonderland with kind of these muted neutrals. Now that we have our wreath form base ready, we're just going to make our big fluffy bow for our wreath. So you're just going to take your wired ribbon, and this is that Dollar Tree ribbon that we painted, and you're going to pull it out and loop it over on itself. And you continue to loop it over on itself until you see 3 loops. So this is what I call the Olivia bow, just so you guys can reference it. I did a big bow tutorial that I will link down below, but this bow is so easy and it comes out so beautiful and fluffy and glam. And now that you have all of the 3 loops ready, you you just find the center point of the bow and you make 2 tiny notches on each side of your ribbon. Make sure they're just itty bitty tiny notches. Don't cut very far into your ribbon, otherwise you'll really mess up this bow. So I know you guys can do this. Just cut those little tiny notches and then get some string or wire or pipe cleaner or whatever you can find that you have on hand, and find your center, and then you're going to go ahead and tie your bow right here at the center. So I just chose some string and I'm tying it really good in the center, and then that's going to give me the ability to go ahead and fluff that bow out really well. So now you can see me pulling the loops out of my bow. That's all you have to do on this bow, you guys, is pull those loops out and then attach them to your wreath form. So I usually like to attach my bow kind of off center to the right, is how I did for this one. And then what you want to do is grab some of your larger florals and add those first. So I'm using 3 of those Dollar Tree painted daisy picks that you all saw, and stay with me, you guys. This wreath is going to come out really super gorgeous and amazing. They already had clips on the back, so there was no need even to hot glue. I just clipped them directly into the wreath. And then I wanted to take one of those Dollar Tree Christmas trees, and I actually broke off the top part of the Christmas tree because I wanted this bigger, fluffier part. And I'm just going to add this into kind of the base of the wreath because I have my bow up to the right that's off center, and I want to put kind of another bow down to the left. We're going to make a really big dramatic statement piece with this wreath. This, of course, is totally optional. If you guys just want to do a round wreath, that would be fine as well. So I'm just tying this on to the wreath base form with the branches that are already on that Dollar Tree Christmas tree. And that Dollar Tree Christmas tree was actually pretty easy to break off. So I just wanted this smaller top part. Now that I have that smaller top part attached, I'm just adding 2 loops of this bow, and this was that Dollar Tree ribbon that we painted as well. And I'm using some wire, and I'm just going to wire this on kind of in and around where we added that Christmas tree, and that's also going to kind of secure that Christmas tree on there as well. Now you guys can see I kind of fluffed that bow and then kind of just edged it and glued it up there to the top. And now I'm going to add some ornament clusters. So I've got this big Dollar Tree kind of mirror ball white ornaments, and then I just added in some smaller ones to that. So when I do a wreath, I usually like to start with my big florals and ornaments first, and I put those on, and then I work some of the smaller pieces and accent pieces in and around that. I hope that helps you guys when you're creating your wreaths. And now I want to go ahead and add in some of those beautiful frosted pine cones. I'm really loving the way these look, and they also bring that festive holiday spirit into this. So for this wreath, I did use those daisies, which are a little bit unusual, but I think that they have those muted winter colors, and with the ornaments and also the pine cones, I think it's looking very festive and very wintry, Wonderland glam kind of rustic neutrals. So you guys saw me add in a couple more evergreen picks, and then I'm going to add a little bit more bow to the center of this top bow. I'm just looping it around and doing a smaller Olivia bow and then adding it into the center of this bow just for a little bit of drama and effect. Now for the original bow, I used the widest ribbon, and that's usually how I go about doing my wreaths, is I'll use the largest ribbon first, and then I'll add a smaller ribbon into the center of that. And these are both wired ribbons that you can find at Dollar Tree, and they're painted, and I just love how beautiful and muted they are. To me, they look very, very high end. And of course, if you all like the bolder colors for Christmas, go for that. You guys can choose whatever color palette that you love to create this exact same kind of wreath. Now I'm just adding some zhuzh to this top part of this bow up here. So Dollar Tree sells those berries, and I had grabbed some red berries and then just frosted them with a little bit of white paint. And so I added that to the center of my bow. And then also I really love to add fruits into some of my winter creations. I feel like it looks very kind of Victorian holiday. So there's that frosted fruit that we created in our fall DIY. And remember, I had a piece of garland left over. I did want to fluff this out just a little bit, so I'm taking the garland and looping it in and around this entire wreath base. I didn't pull it tight to the wreath because I kind of wanted it to hang out and give the wreath kind of a fake appearance of being a little bit fluffier and full. So right now I'm just adding in some more pine cones and greenery, and then I'm going to take some of those Dollar Tree angel wings. They come in white and also rose gold, and I'm just going to take them actually and I'm going to break them apart. So they break apart fairly easily at the center, and what I really love about these is that they have a really nice dimension if you kind of use them to pick in and around your wreath. Or your garland, and they look beautiful together as well, but this wreath just kind of needed something small that was kind of giving it some dimension, so I added one up here at the top, and then I'm going to come underneath and add another one at the base, kind of to offset it. So you guys can see how we have our ribbon up on the top right and then another ribbon down on the top left. I kind of like to do that when I work on a wreath. And then we're going to go in with that Dollar Tree poinsettia. I love this one, and I thought it was perfect because it had that gold sparkling center, nice and fluffy and full and very glam and rustic neutral, beautiful. Dollar Tree is also carrying those white poinsettias. They're smaller, so now that I've got a lot of the wreath base done, I'm coming in with a lot of my smaller florals and picks. And then I couldn't resist adding a Dollar Tree rose up there to the center part of the bow. I really love to do that, and I'm just picking in some more of those daisies that we painted, adding in some more pine cones as I go along to keep in with that rustic feel. So there I'm going in with some of those rose gold ornaments, those angel wings. I actually pulled the white fur off of those because one of you all suggested that you were doing that. So I thought that that would actually be perfect because they have really beautiful detail. They're pretty, I feel like, either way. But that detail was just so pretty when I pulled that fur off. So I'm adding it in and around the bow. You guys can see that, and I do end up adding some more in and around the top. Now remember, I'm using a lot of metallics, so I'm using some of those Dollar Tree gold smaller balls in and around some of these clusters as well, and I really think it's coming out super beautiful. The inspiration behind this piece, actually, in my town we have what we call Big Cedar Lodge, and it's just really beautiful and really rustic but very glamorous. And there was a wedding being held at Big Cedar, and so just that idea of kind of a winter wedding bride, I know that sounds kind of crazy, you guys, but I just feel like this is so beautiful and perfect, very high-end and boutique, and everything is from the Dollar Tree. You gotta love that. Another tip I want to share with you all is don't be afraid to use different seasonal decor with your winter creations. So this, actually, I'm using a Dollar Tree gold pumpkin. I just flipped it upside down, and I had brushed a bit of white paint on top of that too, just to give it that snowy appearance. And then I'm breaking off limb by limb the rest of that Dollar Tree evergreen Christmas tree that I had. I just took some wire cutters and cut them off piece by piece because I wanted to pick them in at the end to give this wreath still that really woodland glam feeling of being on like a really high-end Colorado vacation or wedding or Big Cedar Lodge type feel. But definitely we're doing this on a tiny budget. So I'm loving this, you guys. Everything is from the Dollar Tree. And this is another ribbon I'm going to pick in. So remember, we start with our big ribbons and items at the beginning. Now this is a smaller ribbon. I'm just kind of looping it around, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit over here to the side. It's basically kind of a whisper of a ribbon. You're not going to see very much of it unless you're looking really closely at the wreath, but it is going to give your eye something to dance over. So now lastly, I do like to add a character or some kind of something to the wreath to give it a little bit more zhuzh. So those Dollar Tree had those deer antler heads. I did take off kind of the base around it. It just pulls right off. It had kind of like a evergreen. It looked a bit cheap to me, so I pulled that part off just to where it was the white base of the deer head, and I added him to the center of that. I know this is a very glamorous wreath, but I do feel like in a lodge or at a winter wedding you would see something like that. And so also to go along with the deer head, I just added a tiny Dollar Tree pine cone up there at the top, and then I could not resist giving our deer head a friend with the Dollar Tree deer that I picked into there. So here is a close-up of the finished product. There is that Dollar Tree deer head, and in and around all of these beautiful sparkling Dollar Tree ornaments, those painted daisies, that beautiful white poinsettia with the gold center. I added in some berries and then some of that Dollar Tree painted fruit. We just glittered it and added a bit of paint to that, as well as the ribbon and the beautiful sparkling Dollar Tree deer. I am so over the moon in love with this. And then if you guys can see the angel wing, the sparkling kind of rose gold angel wing, it just gives us that tiny bit of kind of vintage pink to go along with some of that vintage pink ribbon and daisy that we painted. So we're adding in that pink, but it's very subtle and very delicate and very woodland rustic glam. And also I wanted to show you guys how it looked out in the sun. You can see a little bit of more of the colors a bit better. So I hope you guys are loving this. I did leave this video a little bit long just because I know you guys love to see me work, and stay tuned because I have tons more wreaths, garlands, and Christmas DIYs on the way. So thank you guys so much for joining me on this crafting adventure. Please comment and let me know, what are you guys doing this year for Christmas? What are your colors? What are your themes? I love to hear what you all are doing. Also, if you guys do any of these projects, tag me at Olivia's Romantic Home on Instagram. I would love to see where you're up to. So thank you all so much. If you're new, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of my YouTube family. You guys, I love you so much. I just want to hug you. Thank you all so much for all of your kind comments. It keeps me going on my YouTube journey, and it just makes my heart sparkle and shine. So thank you all so much, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.